Why do perpendicular vertical and horizontal lines have zero and undefined slopes? Imagine walking along a flat path and then suddenly stepping straight up a ladder. That's a bit like what happens when you look at horizontal and vertical lines on a graph. They are special because they meet at right angles or 90 degrees, which makes them perpendicular. But what makes their slopes so different from other lines? Well, let's find out. First, think about what slope really means. It tells us how steep a line is. To find the slope, we look at how much the line goes up or down, called the rise, compared to how far it goes sideways, called the run. We write this as the change in y values divided by the change in x values. Now, horizontal lines are easy to picture. They go straight across without going up or down at all. So, if you pick any 2 points on a horizontal line, the y values stay the same. That means the rise is 0 because there's no change in height. The run is some number because the line does go sideways. When you divide 0 by any number, the answer is 0. So, horizontal lines always have a slope of 0. For example, if the line is y equals 5, it stays at 5 no matter what. The slope is 0 because it doesn't rise at all. Vertical lines are a little trickier. They go straight up and down, so the x value stays the same everywhere. When you pick 2 points on a vertical line, the x values don't change. That means the run or sideways change is 0. But here's the problem. When you try to find the slope by dividing the rise by the run, you end up dividing by 0. And in math, dividing by 0 isn't allowed, it's undefined. So vertical lines have an undefined slope because their run is 0, and you can't divide by 0. Now you might wonder why these 2 lines are perpendicular. They meet at right angles, which is the key. Horizontal lines are flat, and vertical lines go straight up and down. When they cross, they form a perfect 90-degree angle. Usually 4 lines that are not vertical or horizontal, the slopes of 2 perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals, meaning if one line has a slope of 2, the other has a slope of -1/2. But that rule doesn't work when one line has a slope of 0 and the other is undefined. Instead, their perpendicularity comes from their orientation. One is flat and the other is straight up and down. So, in the coordinate plane, the x-axis is a horizontal line with a slope of 0, and the y-axis is a vertical line with an undefined slope. They are perpendicular because they intersect at a right angle. This is why understanding these slopes helps us see how lines relate to each other on a graph. It's also why you can't find a negative reciprocal for 0 or an undefined slope, but they still stay perpendicular because of how they are positioned. Knowing this makes drawing and working with lines much easier, especially when you're trying to find equations or solve problems involving linear relationships.